Leadership Analysis and Professional Learning Plan Part 2 by Christina Killian. Topics for discussion today include my leadership style, educational belief, fairness, belief in the growth of all learners, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and data literacy, research, and digital literacy. First up is my leadership style. According to the leadership analysis that I took, my leadership style is frontline leader. The main aspect of the frontline leader is to support your staff. As teachers, when we control our environment, even if we do everything right, we still need to call on other people to help us throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year. They may be different people, they may be the same people, but we call on them to help us make sure that the students succeed. As a principal, you would be doing the same to help your staff succeed. Since there is no way for one administrator to cover all of the things that need to be addressed, you need to make sure that you hire the right people and keep them engaged, have a connection with them, empower them, and show value. In order to do that, you have to be able to let them know that they are needed and that what they are doing is helping or is a benefit to the school. You have to make sure that you are hands-on, or I am hands-on. I have to show up and be present. I can't lead from the office. I have to show them that I am there for them through the good times and the bad throughout the year. And be present. Don't be distracted. This is one thing that I noticed as I am watching other principals or observing other administrators, that when you are speaking with somebody, you speak to them directly. Put your phone away, get off your computer, make sure that they have the 110% of your attention. I mentioned to my principal the other day that it doesn't matter how much he has going on, even if it's 2 minutes, he makes sure that he gives you the eye contact to let you know that what you're saying is valuable and important to him. I hope to display this when I am in a leadership role. You have to be able to display empathy. You have to know where other people are coming from and let them know that you care. And demonstrate an authenticity. Make sure you're able to connect with their stories or tell them a story and share about yourself. I tend to share that I am from the child of a teacher, and my mother has a Native American background, and that my father is a first immigrant to the United States. So I have a different background growing up. I have a bunch of different stories that I can connect with to let them know about who I am. I tend to have, and am very comfortable knowing that when stuff has to get done, I like to get it done. I have a high standard for myself in knowing that I'm going to complete a task and get it done, and I expect the people around me to do the same. This could potentially help or harm me as a leader, as I think it would help to assist staff to know that they can complete something at a higher or thrive at a higher standard. On the other hand, it could have the reverse actions where they could just shut down and just not want to push forward any further. So I will have to find a medium between the two. Being able to be open and communicate between classroom teachers has been beneficial in helping students succeed. One principal stated that he had his staff work in and across grade levels to share ideas and practices after they analyze student data. I feel this is helpful for the current teacher where they maybe struggle or to know where they need help, but it also helps the previous teachers see the achievements from their previous students or help the teachers who may have the students in the future. As a physical education teacher in my building, I'm able to connect with every classroom teacher in the building and notice things on a different level than a general education teacher who only sees the kids once for that year. I noticed that during the staff meetings, data was being discussed from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and it was only showing what the grade level was achieving. I believe in order for data to be collected and analyzed correctly, it needs to go across maybe the full grade cohort from kindergarten through fifth to see if there is progress or to see what they struggle with or where the progress is being made. I believe at that point then it is turned from the data based on the teacher more turned towards the data on the kids that are traveling through the education system and what worked and what didn't with them. On to my educational beliefs. Over the many articles that I have read stated that there are 3 skills of a principal who are successful. These skills include people, instruction, and organization. People skills refer to the building and maintaining relationships. I feel being honest with your staff and having empathy as they are people working alongside you and have lives outside the walls that you work makes a difference in the school community. Instruction. This refers to the direct support work in a classroom. As a teacher, you have to differentiate your lessons for your students. I feel as a principal, there is an understanding to do the same with your staff when you are delivering information or new strategies that they have to implement in their classrooms. And organization would be skills to run any complex entity. In order to achieve the goals you set for your school, you need to have a staff to have your back, and these 3 skills help to make that achievable. These skills break down into 4 behaviors. These 4 behaviors allow for the school to be successful include engaging in instructionally focused interactions with teachers, building a productive school climate, facilitating productive collaboration and professional learning communities, and managing personnel and resources strategically. While I feel my position as a physical education teacher does get stereotyped as not being a general education teacher or a core teacher, I do feel it has quite a superpower in and of itself. I get the chance to watch students grow and mature over the 6 years that they are at my school, physically, academically, emotionally, and socially. If there is a tough time or something that happens in their lives, I am the constant that they get to see every year, 2-3 times a year in class or in the hallway, or if they need a safe place, I get to be that person to help connect them between the staff if they have any struggles, since I've been there over the years. What I have found also is that my students like to learn by getting the information verbally, and they get to immediately apply the skills and use what they have hands-on and apply what they've learned physically. Once applied, it seems that the same concept isn't as hard to grasp. I believe in setting in the school setting as the staff would work better or would work as well when delivering information at a staff meeting. I use one of my lessons that I would use in a health class or a physical education class to get them to connect with what the lesson is. The teachers can then take that back and use the bits and pieces that work for them in their classroom, or if they have an idea that works well with what we just went over, then they can contribute that as well. This would allow for everyone to share in what they know and what has worked over the years so that we can build one team together. Fairness is defined as to include being considerate of others. In my class, I know For students with special needs, there are modifications for their goals, but they are still working on the same task, just at a different level. What works for them to be successful may not always be what is needed for the sports athlete to be successful. However, you would have to apply the same concept to your staff. Equal treatment only works well if the students are starting from the same place. However, your teachers are not starting from the same place. So you would have to take that into consideration when dealing with not only students, but also parents and staff. With that being said, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is treated the same, but should also avoid showing favoritism. Believe in the growth of all learners. The first step to make this accountable is to have relevant PD. If you have professional development for your school that doesn't specifically address the needs of your school or your students, your staff will not be relevant to what they're trying to achieve in their classroom. This would then go into collaboration between the grade levels. What works for one grade level may not work for another grade level. However, it very well may be. So in order to know if it does or to see if it does, then there needs to be the conversations between before, during, and after the applied methods. And once the applied methods have been applied or followed through, then a follow-up to try and grow further from what is known to fill the gap. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is my belief that with knowledge comes confidence, and with confidence comes strength, and with strength comes the ability to welcome change and apply necessary actions to recognize and address concerns. By embracing the diversity of all students and staff and removing barriers allows schools to ensure practical enforcement of new procedures and policies regarding this development moving forward. Data and digital literacy and research. It is my thought that when data is collected and analyzed correctly, there is no doubt that changes can be brought forward for the corrections to be made in many procedures. Though most of the articles I read dealt with curriculum data, the latest data that I have on a personal level was from when I was co-chair of a PBIS team. I used monthly data over the year to organize it into a spreadsheet. Once overlooking the spreadsheet, I was able to analyze and cross the school behavior reports and those that were not being successful in a behavioral way at school, and found out that what we were implementing was in fact not working. We were able to look at the data that I had collected and analyzed and shared to the staff and came up with a new idea to apply this new skill of a break for those students to see if this would help them be successful at school instead of what we were using. Since there is no doubt that technology is going to be prevalent in our future as educators, it is our responsibility to inform the students of its impact. Knowing the digital literacy goes in depth for the questions why, when, who, or for whom. Some questions may include, when would you use a public website instead of a more private forum? Why would you use it for advocacy? And who puts themselves at risk when they are using technology? The diagram on this page shows all the benefits and the impacts that can occur if a student uses technology. These include functional skills, creativity, critical thinking and evaluation, cultural and social understanding, collaboration, the ability to find and select information, effective communication, and e-safety.